Hi, I'm Shannon from houseimprovements.com, and I want to show you a quick video today on how to use a drywall rotary cutout tool. So this is really handy for cutting out around electrical switch boxes, light boxes, anything like that, especially in new construction where you don't already have receptacles and switches and that sort of thing already in the way. So typically what you'd have, and we just got a little wee mock-up here of a wall. Typically you're going to have, electrical switch box in this case, and the electrician's going to have a whole bunch of wires in there. So one of the first things you need to do is just gently take his wires if he hasn't already, and he's going to really appreciate if you tuck them back in the box nice and flat back in there so that they're not in a position where you're going to nick them, because you're going to end up plunging this spiral rotary bit into that box to get started. So we want to keep all the wiring back and out of the way, at least an inch back into that box. Next thing you're going to want to do, and I mean this, we're just doing a little wee piece here, but I do this with sheets all the time, so it's just that it's a lot easier to show you in a small little bit, a small little piece, I mean. So one of the first things you want to do, get all your wires tucked out of the way. Then you need to get a center point of all the boxes that you're going to be cutting on that sheet. So measure from whatever reference point you have and go over to your sheet of drywall, and you want to mark a center point of each one of those. You may want to even label them if you've got multiple ones, and then that way you have an idea as you're cutting, what kind of size you should be getting in case you go off kilter. But mark all your centers, and then you're ready that you can hang the board. And what you have to do is, obviously the boxes are all sticking out of the wall, usually at least 3/8 to half an inch, right? So you obviously can't just go up and screw your whole sheet right on there, because it's going to have a gap anywhere that there's a box sticking out holding it out. So what you do want to do is you want to, actually I've got to go a little bit lower. You want to go and basically hang the top of your sheet, or you can put in a few screws just to hang the sheet there, but you want to stay away about 16 inches from any of these devices that you're going to router out. So get your sheet up there, somebody's holding it in place. You get enough screws in that'll hold it where it needs to be. And just get it hanging there. So obviously we're caught up on the bench down here, but typically drywall will hang with 3 or 4 screws or whatever you got on there. You're going to want eye and hearing protection, because these tools are very noisy, and they throw dust and debris and everything around. So once you've got your sheet hanging, you can't really see from the angle you're on, but I can get my fingers back in there, but you do want to make sure that it's up against that box that's sticking out. The basic operation of this tool is there's usually some kind of a foot plate here that's adjustable for the depth, and you want to have enough bits sticking out, because basically there's a cutting area of the bit here and then a smooth area, a guide, that's going to run around the outside of the electrical box. So you want enough bits sticking out that you've got enough guide there too, and everything. So usually you want to be about 3/4 to an inch of bits sticking out from this plate here. You can get cordless versions. This one happens to have a cord. So the basic idea, what I'm going to do, the reason we mark that center point is I know that there's a box there. I'm going to plunge into that center point, and then I want to slowly make my way across over to one side or the other until basically I come up against the inside of that electrical box. Then I know what I've got to do. I've got to actually pull out of the cut and just plunge in on the opposite side so that I get just to the outside of that box. And anytime you're using a router type tool like this, rotary tool, you want to go, if you're on the outside of the object you're cutting to as a guide, you want to go counterclockwise. Okay, so I'm going to plunge in, go over, find the edge, come out, re-plunge in, and go around there. Okay, and the idea is once you get on the outside, you want to move slowly in the counterclockwise position, but yet you want to hold enough force against the side of what you're cutting that it can use it as a template to make your cut. So right there, that's where I found the edge of my box, and this is where I pulled out, and now I'm going to plunge back in on the other side. Is the camera angle all right? Okay. So once you've made that cut, basically you should be able to pull this out and slip that drywall right in, right around there. Looks like I missed a little bit of the cut on there, but that's going to cover with the switch box, so it won't matter. So you can see it's pretty noisy and it makes a fair bit of dust, but once you get practiced at it, you can actually get a nice cut around your box, and you're not doing a bunch of measurements to try to get it all right. So then once you've got it fitting well around your box, then it's just a matter of going back in and screwing the rest of your sheet off. Around, you know, whatever you've got in there for stud spacings or anything. So hopefully the camera can see that. Maybe we'll change the angle a little bit and get more of a straight on shot so we can see the spacing in that. So you can see basically what would have happened is I plunged in somewhere in this direction or this area, and then I made my way across till I hit this. You can actually see right here where I plunged back in on the outside and started to go around. And it all went really well until I got over here, and I found I had to actually push the drywall a little tighter against the box. I didn't quite have my bit far enough out. That's why I kind of struggled in here to get back on track. But then once I got on track, you can see he basically falls around real nice. There's a bit of dust there. It's just a matter of going around and cleaning that out after. But it does a really nice job. You get a little bit of frayed paper here, but again, that's all fine. It's all going to be underneath the cover, switch plate cover, or whatever you're putting on there when it's all done. So it's a little, once you get the hang of it, it's a lot nicer than individually cutting each one with the saw and then finding out it didn't line up, especially if you've got a sheet that's got 3 or 4 different things in it. Sometimes it can be hard to go and measure them, transfer those measurements, cut it out, and actually make it line up when you go to hang the sheet on the wall. So once you get used to using a drywall rotary cutout tool like this, you're going to find you're going to use it a lot for drywall, cutting out doorways, all that kind of stuff. You'll just get used to making sure, you know, any little gap or crack you have, that little blade is going to fall into it and follow it around. But you'll get used to using it, and you'll wonder why you ever used a little drywall saw, like a hand saw, before. So I think that's all I can really show you on here. We'll wrap her up at this point. So if you can give us a thumbs up, click down there lower on the screen, that'd be great. Subscribe to our channel, come check it out. We've got our forum page on our website. We've got Twitter, we've got Facebook, and we're also on Patreon as well if you want to have a look at that. So thanks for watching.